context, inherited interaction in the classroom. What is the interaction? It's an action, it's something that is done. We are always interactive, permanently be speaking personally with someone, and we also always establish a communication relationship with someone. It's the exchange of thought, feelings, or ideas between two or more people. Students are always in constant interaction with their teacher and with their classmates. This helps them to function and have better relationship with the environment that surrounds them. They also learn to listen to new ideas. Communication is very important so that they can express their ideas, thought about what they have understood about the subject and what they have not. Interaction is part of communication. It's very important when learning a new language. There are interactive principles which are automaticity. Is when you sit on the message that don't focus so much on details as the grammar. This is usually the result of learning, repeating, and practice, and it's like an automatic mode. Instructing motivation is a motivating behavior that a student has when he or she does something well. He or she is motivated only they have a personal realization when they have done something well, then they want to more. They have an impulse to improve in the competence to improve the language. This is great when you want to learn a new language. Strategic investment complete with the objectives or goals designing in the linguistic competence, full or strategy to develop the content with the students, such as making the linguistic competence always open and not blocked because it's part of the interaction. Willingness to communicate. Well, the student must have the will to want to communicate with its classmate and teacher in order to express what he wants within the classroom. There are shy students who don't have the will to occasionally communicate with these students. The teacher must always help them. The language culture connection. There must always be a connection between language and culture in order to learn better about what is developing. Interlanguage. So the teachers should always give feedback to its students on topics that they have not understood, because there always mistakes when learning a new language. And communicate competence. The element of the communicate competence is our grammatical, discursive, sociolinguistic, pragmatic, and strategic. All these elements must be involved because they are a part of human interactions. Well, the role of the interactive teacher. The teacher as a controller, someone who determines what to do when and how. The teacher as a director, that the teacher be leader. The teacher as a manager, that the teacher create learning strategies where the student can get involved. The teacher as a facilitator. In the learning process, the teacher will have facilitator in the learner's process. So the teacher as a resource, the teacher must always be willing to help her students. Content: how to teach beginner students. Keep instruction clear and simple. Let them listen in fear. Drill, and repeat again and again. Establish classroom language early on. Avoid meta language. Don't forget that your students are fluent in their own language. Prepare well the topic and prepare a lot and always keep them talking. So, teaching vocabulary. Guidelines on which vocabulary can be based: common word, student need, student language, word building, topic areas, why of presenting new vocabulary, in context, create a context, description or definition, outside the classroom, objects, opposite, synonyms, translation, pictures, flashcards, wall charts, word games, passive vocabulary. The teaching of vocabulary, in addition to being a fundamental part of grammar, is also a basic element for the interpretation of a text and the pronunciation of ideas. Communication. Knowing the variety of new words gives support to enable explanation of something that it's not nobody does not consist only in knowing it, but in that it use it to communicate with another person and also understand the message that it's being transmitted. The teacher of the new vocabulary should be reinforced with spoken form. What is spoken form? This focuses on the articulation points for the pronunciation of the word. Then writing form, write the word according to how the students listening to it, that is the phonetic transcription of a word and how it should be pronounced. And for the last one, word parts. It's represented in there of the form of the word and the grammatical function in there of its use. These methods are significant in knowing a new word. Its purpose is to find the aspect that may have difficulty at the time of learning new vocabulary and into how you can acquire it in a more natural way. There are a variety of exercises that can be useful to acquire new vocabulary. In each aspect, for example, synonyms, translations, pictures, flashcards, and others. Content: how to teach using games. How to use flashcards for teaching. Using games in education mostly focus on improving critical thinking skill while teaching. Well, I want to talk about some games in English. The games in the classroom are made in order for the students to learn in a fun way. Continuing the song, its own name indicates this game is to continue with a song. Ideally, the teacher starts singing a nursery rhyme and the students continue it. Music is good tool for students to learn English easily, especially to learning to pronounce each word properly. Hot potato. Well, hot potato is consists of passing the ball and counting to 10. Whoever has the ball lose. When lose, they can be asked something about the subject they are seeing. So, how to use flashcards for teaching? Well, the flashcards with pictures or photos and other words that are normally used to learn new vocabulary but can also be used for sentences or review grammar. The purpose itself most of the time it's to match new words with the imagery that represent them. For example, make cards with the bear, put pictures on the flat cards, and belong the vocabulary is way of learning English.